you mind telling us a bit about this project? It's quite impressive.
Well, I don't know about impressive. It's a bit messy. I tried I tried to clean up for you.
Oh, it looks nice.
I had to sweep my sawdust.
Oh, you shouldn't have.
I know. Anyway, so yeah, this is a strong back.
Yeah,
It is. I'm able to have this in my yard because you see, I'm in the city.
yeah,
Right?
that's true.
Maybe people can't tell from the camera, but I don't have a lot of land. Um, but I have. I situated the house on the land when I did the renovation so that I could have a really wide driveway, which is really 120, 130 feet by 23 feet wide,
Yeah,
which is really what that space is. Maybe a little bit bigger. But anyway, it affords me basically to put the strong back at the edge of my driveway so that once the boat is finished, people say, how you gonna get the boat out? Well,
sure.
I'm gonna eventually, once the boat is built, say, imagine there's a hull here right now, right?
Yeah,
So the plan is to build supports like you have in a boatyard,
yeah,
regular, a cradle to set it in.
sure.
Take this down, right? Then bring in steel, probably 2 pieces of 30-foot long, 4 pieces of 30-foot long steel, weld them up, and to build a carriage for it.
Oh, yeah,
Strap the boat to the carriage, and then the carriage can be loaded on a trailer. And basically, it can be pulled right out. Get it out. I'm in construction, so I know how to rig and move stuff and
yeah,
use good old-fashioned manpower or machine power to get things moved. You don't always have to get a crane. I could get a crane to come in, make this pick, but it would probably cost me $3 or $4 to do that.
yeah.
And I don't. That's like my budget for my ballast.
And you need that
And I
ballast.
need that ballast. I need that. I need about 12,000 pounds of ballast.
Yeah.
Um,
So what's the purpose of the strongback? I know you've mentioned this in some of your videos, but yeah,
well, the purpose of the strongback is each of these pieces of wood is at a certain dimension.
yeah,
So it provides a quick reference point to when I'm actually building a boat. And eventually, right now the keel is laid out, and the keel is laid sideways,
yeah,
so that you can see the contour of the hull. And you'll see that, I guess, when you take a little walk a little later. And so eventually that keel, and I'm still trying to figure out whether I'm going to build the boat upside down or right side up.
yeah, sure.
Right now, I'm really in favor of building it upside down, which means that once the keelson, which is what this piece I'm making now, the keelson
Yeah,
is created, it will get turned upside down and at a certain elevation so that my frames can attach to it. The only problem with that is I would have to work off of ladders to attach the frames to the keelson,
sure.
because these frames in the middle part of the boat, well, no, not in the middle part, all the way down will pretty much be at 9 foot above the platform.
Yeah,
So what'll happen is whenever I do decide which way I'll build the boat, I'll actually mark on the strongback
yeah,
the actual dimensions of the boat
sure.
as reference points. So when I go to put the frames in place, there's a line on the ground that says that this frame is supposed to be here. So it's almost like lofting a sail on a floor.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, it allows me to actually build the boat with dimensions in the space,
Yeah.
on the ground, so to speak. And so that's what that allows me to do for the strongback. And I know that, each piece of wood is a certain distance apart, so
yeah. It's a point of reference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But how about if you build the boat upside down? How do you flip it?
Well, you use come-alongs.
Okay.
Yeah. And part of the process of designing the boat, I had to figure out where the center of gravity is.
Yeah,
So knowing where the center of gravity is, you can take a huge object, but if you know where the center of gravity is and you put 2 points of pivot there,
yeah,
it's pretty easy to turn,
Sure.
because you got it pretty much well balanced.
yeah.
And so that's the idea. There's a pile of lumber over there, which is the timbers for the roof,
Oh yeah,
which will have to go on, so that I can still work in the rain.
yeah,
Had a bit of a slowdown this week because it was raining and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
didn't have the cover over, but eventually that stuff gets put up, the poly gets on, and then I can work inside. When I go to flip the boat, I'll have to take that off, and it's only plastic and
yeah.
2x4s, but it'll all have to come back down. So yeah, that's the process, uh, planned process of how we're going to do this,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we'll see how it actually turns out.
So why would you prefer to build the boat upside down?
Well, because you can kind of work with the. It's all about your line of sight, your eyes.
Oh yeah,
You can see the hull. I mean, you can see the shear of the hull upside down or
sure,
right side up,
sure.
but the bottom of the hull, you can't really see that line of sight like you want it
Yeah.
when it's right side up. I mean, for some reason the eye just doesn't work that well upside down. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
just see it better when it's upside down. Um, so that's the plan. That's what I'd like to do. Um, but this process, I tell you one thing, it's always evolving
Yeah.
because you've got these situations that you've got to solve on the spot. Like, how am I going to do this? I didn't know this would happen. But the simple fact is, not being afraid to understand that this is a simple thing. I'm taking a bunch of wood, I'm nailing it and gluing it together, and eventually it's going to leave,
Yeah.
right? Um, and once you kind of get that in your head, like it's real basic.
Yeah.
Now there are a lot of steps in that process, but that's basically it. I'm going to get a bunch of wood, I'm going to glue it together, and then it's going to leave.
Yeah.
But this is all stuff that I can manipulate.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't frighten me that I'll get into a situation where, oh wow, well, what am I going to do here? It's simple fact is trying to figure out how to solve the problem and not trying to rush it because rushing will only cost me money.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I like to use the analogy of not the World Trade Center, but the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
When you look at that building, I mean, it's huge.
Huge.
And it's brick.
Yeah.
I mean, who thinks about? I mean, somebody Mason
Yeah.
had to lay bricks for those 107 stories, whatever, however tall it is, 102 stories, on a scaffold. This was back before you could build panelized construction. And they had, you know, big cranes with. I mean, they had cranes back then, but you know, everything's pretty much a panel, and you just got a couple guys welding, and the thing goes together like Legos.
Yeah.
You know, back then, no, it was a guy, men on scaffold, 100 and some odd stories up in the air, one brick at a time,
Yeah.
mixing mortar, one brick at a time. And when you think about those kind of huge tasks, you know, again, my field is construction. I understand that it's just progress over time that
Yeah.
you can accomplish major feats like that. So that's what the plan is here.
Yeah.
To use ingenuity, creativity, and to keep that mind thinking
Yeah.
of how to solve these problems. And yeah, we'll get her done one day.
One brick at a time.
One piece of wood at a time. One screw at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So your boat is going to be made out of plywood and fiberglass, right?
Mhm.
What's the hull going to be like?
The hull is the plywood.
Yeah.
The outer skin is 3/4 inch
Yeah.
um, Meranti or Okumi plywood, 18 mil,
Yeah.
and it'll be covered with 2 layers of fiberglass. The first layer is going to be probably a 10. I think it's called a 10-pound or 10-ounce heavy fiberglass material.
Yeah.
The second one will be a lighter, probably 6 or 4-ounce fiberglass. That'll give me a more smooth finish.
Sure. Easier to.
Right. The 10-ounce stuff, you know, won't give you a good finish. The smaller stuff gives you a good finish. So the first layer is more structural. The second layer is more for the finish.
Okay.
Even though they both work as a, you know, to make the structure solid and
Yeah.
all
Okay.
that.
So the fiberglass is a part of the structure. It's yeah.
Yeah. You wet out the entire hull. Well, it depends. I could wet out the hull and then put the fiberglass on and then smooth it out. Or you what I found is, which works easier for me, is to lay the fiberglass out, get it cut, get it right,
Yeah.
and then wet out the hull with the fiberglass on it. It's easier
Sure.
to work with that way.
Yeah.
I found, especially since I'm not working with a lot of people.
That's true.
You know,
But-
I won't be able to lay this whole thing up and vacuum bag it and have it perfect. If I do vacuum bag, I'll probably do a quarter of the boat at a time.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if I'll be doing vacuum bagging.
But you actually you did a small experiment last summer. I remember a small dinghy, right?
Yeah, I wanted to see how hard it was to build a boat without metal.
Yeah.
Because from my studies, I knew that, you know, metal underwater over time is not a good thing, right?
True.
So, how hard is the process to build a boat without metal? And it's a little harder because, you know, you've got to take extra steps. The wood I'm attaching to is thicker than it needs to be. My wood frames are a lot thicker than they need to be.
Yeah.
Um, there are more of them because I wanted to make sure. It's all about how much surface area is glued
Sure.
versus a screw can hold an item. When you're dealing with gluing, it's all about how much surface area you have. And so the more surface area you have that you can glue to, the better your bond will be. So I took that precaution to make sure that I have more frames. My frames are wider because I want more surface area to actually bond to the hull. And there will be some metal, of course, in some areas, but for the majority of the hull, there won't be any metal. No permanent screws affixing the hull to the frames. There'll be screws affixing the frames to the keelson, but not on the outside of the boat. Try to eliminate a lot of that.
So I'd really love to check out your dinghy, the one you built last summer, if you don't mind.
Sure, it's right here. She's been unused because we're too busy boat building. And I also shared earlier, but I still have a mast to make, some spars to make, and I didn't finish putting my final coat of, like, the paint on here is just house paint because I wanted to see how it weathered. And from over here, it's dirty, but it doesn't look too bad, right?
True.
I mean, it's dirty, but if you get up close, you can start to see some of the discoloration from the sun and stuff. So, because I wanted to see if I could really use just regular house paint on the big boat.
Yeah.
So that's why this is sat out here. I didn't cover it during the winter because I wanted to see what the conditions would do to really untreated or just basic household materials in terms of the paint. So if you want to grab your camera and take a look at it.
Sure.
All right.
So this is the infamous dinghy.
It's not infamous, it's famous.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yes, but this is it. This is 4 mil Okumi, right? And then on the back, it's 18 mil Meranti plywood. So I'm gonna ask you to do me a favor. Let me hold your camera.
Yeah.
Try to lift it up.
Oh shit. That is heavy.
Yeah, she's not as light as I want her to be. Although in water she's too light.
Okay.
She's very
Very buoyant.
Oh, well, it's interesting because I wanted to be able to take 6 people, right? Because that's the design platform, 6 people right on
Yeah.
the boat to
Yeah.
cruise to and from the shore. Now, I could, like I said, I think all said and done, I spent probably $1,700 building this. I could have bought a nice rubber dinghy for that.
Sure.
But I wanted something that's deeper. And so, I'm going to lift this, show you. You see how deep that is?
That is deep, yeah.
Yeah. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost 9 people in here.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so deep. This thing can probably go about 1.5 feet in the water and still have plenty of buoyancy. Plus materials and supplies and all that kind of stuff.
So the construction method you used for this, is that the exact same thing you'll be doing with the bigger boat, or?
No, a little different.
Yeah.
You see how there are very few frames in here,
Yeah.
right? This is what impressed me about fiberglass, because basically I have a transom, I've got 2 intermediate frames, and a forward pram, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you feel
That's
how
solid. Yeah. Solid.
it's solid as hell. And this
Yeah.
is not using thick cloth. This
Nah.
is only using, I think, 6-ounce cloth
Yeah.
and 4-ounce cloth. So when I built this boat, I was like, oh my goodness, this fiberglass and wood stuff is no joke. This is only 4 mil.
Yeah.
The boat's going to be that all the way around.
Yeah.
the 18 mil, with frames that are this wide every 19 inches.
Sure.
So when you talk about heavy and stiff and strong, yeah, I'm very pleased with what plywood and epoxy can do in terms of a building material. It's going to be awesome. I wanted to show you what I've been working on. I feel it. I love it.
Oh, that is nice. That's nice.
Right. So this is the planing that's happened. And once the wood's planed, you see the scarf joints come out pretty even.
Yeah, you get a nice even edge right here, right?
Right. So I need to have, I think 9, well really only 8 and 9/16 is what I need surface area.
Yeah.
Right now I think this is almost 10 inches.
Okay.
Right. So they're definitely long enough. Some of them, try to find some of the older ones that we did initially. You can see they were a little rounded.
Yeah.
Well, here we go.
Oh yeah.
This is one of the first ones.
Oh yeah, and I also see that you've got some jagged edges there.
Right. So you see, we have about 16th here.
Yeah.
About a 16th of an inch. And, you know, trying to take it down to feather, to 0.
Yeah.
You know. And,
little splinter.
Right. So even this board, the scarf joint was cut, but then I ran it back through the planer, so you can see where it was planed down after the fact.
Yeah.
So this board is now not perfect, but it's better than it was when I did the scarf joint.
Sure.
So now I have a hand planer, and I'll just go through and make sure I've got my 8 and 9/16, because then I'll probably cut off a good ½ an inch here.
Yeah.
Before I glue them together. But yeah, this is a labor of love. It's tedious, and you see they're done on both ends.
Yeah.
Scarf joints on both ends.
Oh, that looks nice.
Yeah, and they eventually, what I have to do is, you see this line on the strong back?
Yeah.
I'm going to lay them on that line and then glue them together. Well, not lay them. I'll lay them to this side of that line, to the right of that line, and then start gluing them together. Then put them in the frame and glue them together, laminate board on board.
And I must say, it's really cool to be able to see the curvature of your keelson. That's, you get a sense of what the boat's going to be like.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I mean, it's got a gentle entry in the front.
Yeah.
It's pretty flat in the middle, which is where it's flat. That's where the keel attaches.
Sure.
The deep keel.
Yeah. And like I've mentioned like a ton of times, I'm really excited about this project, and
hey, next time you come back, bring your overalls.
I'll certainly do that.
Yeah, I actually have a guest tool belt.
Really?
Yeah, I bought a tool belt for people to help me.
Yeah.
And it's for people, my assistants.
Wow.
So they get a tool belt, and maybe I'll get some t-shirts made.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure lots of people would love to participate in this.
Yeah, well, the guy, there's a guy out in Oklahoma building a boat.
Yeah. Oh, he's awesome. Yeah.
What's the name of his boat?
Oh, the channel is...
Seeker. Is it Seeker?
Yeah.
SV Seeker.
SV Seeker, yeah.
Right.
And he is awesome. I love his videos.
Yeah. They're great. And he's building that big old steel boat.
Yeah.
Oh,
and lots of people come out to help him.
Yeah.
So
and he's in Oklahoma.
Yeah. The only difference is this is wood, right?
Right. So I guess once I get some progress, people will say, hey, I'll go help. Maybe next summer.
Yeah.
But so that's what we're doing on Saturdays for now.
I had a ton of fun hanging out with Kamau. That was really cool. And I must say, his project, that's very ambitious and very exciting. I'm really looking forward to following along. And of course, there's a link for his channel down in the description. The next time I'm back here, I am definitely bringing along my tools. It'd be really cool to be able to lend him a hand. That would be awesome. But for now, I'm heading back south down to Norfolk, where I'm going to be meeting up with a guy tomorrow who's actually going to be able to give me a tour of the naval base, I think. Yeah, but other than that, I guess that's it for this video, guys. See you! Jökull and I hope you've enjoyed this video. To be notified about new content, please click subscribe. If you're new to the channel, I suggest you check out the introduction playlist. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and feel free to leave a comment.